To begin, I've set up my dialectical journal. I'm not going to copy the whole quote. I don't think it's completely necessary to copy it. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you where I found it. So for the text, I'm going to write articles, opening, the symbol for paragraphs, 1 to 3. Now, I go to my next piece, which is the actual analysis. I told you there were two pieces of it. What is it saying, and what is it doing? So, let's begin. What is the text saying? The first paragraph discusses a greeting. It actually sends a greeting. I thought that was kind of odd. Sounds like a letter. The second paragraph just lists the states. And finally, the third begins the actual articles. So I've told you what my analysis is saying, what my text that I'm analyzing is saying. So I've just told you in these first 2 or 3 sentences what exactly the beginning of this is saying. I've not analyzed it much, I've just summarized it. And now it's time to work on the analysis. I told you that I was going to use connections, so I wrote down connections on the side just as a reminder. And I told you that I was going to connect with a text that I had already read, and I was going to compare it also a little bit to the Constitution. Part of what I'm doing is also talking about author's craft, which is what we'll be doing in future lessons. But for now, I'm just making this basic connection. This text opens unlike the Declaration. I'm going to add to it and explain. Which had a beautiful and poetic pair of paragraphs that are memorable even today. See what I did there? These articles do very little to engage the public. They may be interesting to the politicians, but they don't seem to reach for the heart of the people. I'm going to need a second piece of paper for this. Alright, I got my paper ready. So, They don't seem to reach the heart of the people. I'm going to write, even the Constitution found enough poetry, enough poetic phrasing to engage the imagination. And here's where I add one last piece where I'm actually going to evaluate and judge and say, maybe this is in part why they failed. Now, I'm not a history teacher, but I know we don't use the Articles of Confederation as part of our government today. And so you have here one piece of dialectical journal. It is a little bit long, but it gives you an idea of how I found a quote using my strategies. First, I explain the quote, and then I try to use this strategy to answer the second piece, which was, what is the text doing? Well, it's not very memorable. It's not very interesting to the regular public. And maybe it's not even working. And so I'm taking a lot of risks here in giving my interpretation of the text. In your dialectical journals, please feel free to use any of the strategies that we've learned in that handout. I'm going to review them very briefly and show them to you on the screen. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of at a weird angle. But you can see that we have the three that we've been talking about. You can be making predictions, you can use the visualizing, you can make connections, and this is the one that I used. It said, what connections were you able to make between your experience and the text? Did the text call up personal memories for you? Did the text remind you of other books, stories, poems, movies you have read or seen? And in here, it doesn't say other historical documents, but this is the one that I tried to kind of answer. Going back down to the monitoring, if you're confused, monitoring has strategies for you. If you were confused and clarified or revised meaning, these yellow strategies can help you with your dialectical journaling. If you are confused, if you're lost with your text, use these yellow ones to write about what strategies you're able to use to clarify, or maybe if you still are completely lost, just to explain where you get lost. I hope this video helped. Once again, we've got a really long dialectical journal. I used marker. It made it look really, really long. Yours will probably be almost a whole page. If you're writing too small, please write bigger. And we will be reviewing more of these. If this was helpful, please let me know. And you know where to find me. #A13, Mr. Moreno. Have a good day.